Live the great life. Now, what I want to do is show you what you need to do starting today, okay? The master keys to success, how you guys can start living the great life right now, okay? Key number one is you've got to be willing to risk failure, and you need courage because it's going to take courage in order to risk failure. You need courage to endure constant setbacks because from my experience, it's just going to happen. The disappointments, the temporary defeats, they're going to happen, right? They've happened to me, they're happening to you. So you've got to learn to deal with failure by realizing that it's an indispensable prerequisite for success. It is not an option. And so you need to overcome the fear of failure by doing the things that you feel over and over again. Like when I got into this industry, I didn't like to talk to people, okay? I was a little bit more introverted, kind of to myself. And then later I asked myself the question, do you want to get rich or do you want to be broke? And I basically told myself, I'm going to force myself to become a people person. And guess what? It worked. And I'm just going to leave it at that so that the regulators don't come after me for an income or lifestyle claim, okay? And so you've got to resolve to bounce back rather than to break down when things don't work out for you. You've got to learn to fail early, fail often, but you always fail forward. And the key, number two, is you got to face your fears. And let me just say this, like you need to identify right now all the fear situations in your life that cause you stress and anxiety. You've got to decide what is the worst possible outcome of these situations? Because the truth is 90% of what we worry about doesn't even happen. And the 10% that does, 90% wasn't as bad as we thought, right? And so to me, worry is wasted thought. It does nothing to enhance your life or your energy. And so you've got to refuse to allow worry and failure to remain in your life. It is dominating your thoughts and your emotions every single day. It's literally holding you back. Okay, key number three, admit your mistakes. You need the courage to admit that you might actually be wrong, that you might have actually made a mistake when you get new information. Now look, I've made plenty of mistakes in my life. I thought that I was right, and then I found out that I was wrong. I had to drop my pride. I had to ask for forgiveness. I feel like that I had to do that on a daily basis with my wife. I'm the one who sometimes needs to drop my pride, my ego. If you want things to get better, don't be afraid to just cut your losses. Don't be afraid to admit that you're actually wrong. Okay. Key number four is you've got to be willing to make mistakes. You need the courage to be willing to make mistakes and to learn from these mistakes. So you either win or you learn. You never lose. You always learn. And the people who are going to make it happen, they continually make decisions. They make mistakes. They learn from these mistakes. They self-correct, and then they move on to become successful. Because successful people, they're not necessarily, you're just going to make the right decisions all the time, okay? The key is they make their decisions right. They make a mistake. They accept it. They learn as much as possible from those mistakes, and then they continue on. So you got to remember, you can learn to succeed only by failing and making mistakes. And the more that you fail, the more mistakes that you make, the smarter that you're going to become. And so the more likely it is that you will eventually achieve your goals because of this. It's because of Thomas Edison making mistakes that the lights that's above my head right now, it's shining. You are eventually going to reach your goals, my friends. Okay? Key number five, accept complete responsibility. You've got to have the courage to accept complete responsibility for your life, which means that you take ownership for your results. So you need the courage to refuse to make excuses or to defend yourself. You need the courage to be able to say, I am responsible. It is on me. It's not my business partner. It's not on the team. It's not on my upline. It's not on my spouse. I am personally responsible for my success or failure. So when something goes wrong, you focus on the solution rather than the problem. See, that's just the way that I am. I'm always focused on solution, okay? Key number 6 is patience. You need what I call courageous patience. This is a special kind of courage that is required after you have launched towards your goals, but you've not seen any results yet. How do you keep going? You know, I get asked this all the time. This is the answer. You need what is called courageous patience. Once you started towards your goal, you make a resolve to remain calm and confident until you get the results. You got to be patient in the meantime. You've got to be persistent no matter what happens in the short term, okay? Key number 7, persist longer. The final courage that you need is to persist longer than anyone else. Now look, I admit I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I'm persistent and I'm consistent. It makes up for any lack of smarts or skills that I have not obtained up until this point. And persistence is the quality that will ultimately guarantee your success because you simply will not give up. Quitting is not an option. Your willingness to persist in the face of every adversity, trial, and setback can be your greatest asset. It can literally be the one factor that guarantees your success. And so if you refuse to quit, I believe you'll ultimately succeed. And the one thing that I've discovered over and over and over again is that nobody is ever defeated until they have accepted defeat as a reality in their life. Here's the reality. Most people, they quit marriage. They quit the business. They quit exercise. They quit the church. They quit all sorts of things in their life. Quitting is a mentality. But when you discipline yourself to do what you should do, whether you feel like it or not, and you use this inner strength to build high levels of courage and persistence within yourself, my friends, you're going to become an incredibly powerful person. You're going to develop yourself to the point where you are going to start feeling completely unstoppable. We need to set higher standards for ourselves. We're getting ready to go into 2025, higher standards. We all need to work continually on the development of our character. We've got to strive to become better people, right? We can never allow ourselves to become complacent at any level of accomplishment. Here's my experience. If you do, you're going to lose everything. When I hit the top rank, I was at the office the next morning. That's commitment. So a person's going to say, but Brandon, when do you get to stop grinding? When can you just chill? The answer is you don't. Because you realize that life is bigger and more than just about yourself and your money. It's actually about helping other people. I'm not going to stop grinding. I'm not going to stop impact. When do I want to stop impacting, making a difference? I'm going to enjoy life. And this is how you live the great life. And so the keys I've talked about today, the real payoff is when you set these high standards for yourself, because your self-esteem, your self-worth, and your self-respect are going to increase significantly. When you decide that you are going to live consistently with your highest values, your deepest convictions, you're going to feel great about yourself. And when you become completely honest with yourself, you will stop compromising yourself in a relationship with other people. And so I want to give you some of the keys that we talked about today, kind of remind you of all the master keys on how you guys can start living a great life today. Number 1 is you got to risk failure. Okay. Number 2, face your fears. Number 3, admit your mistakes. Number 4, be willing to make mistakes. Number 5, accept complete responsibility. Number 6 is you got to be patient. Number 7, persist longer. The good news is that you can live the great life right now. Okay, I hope that this has been helpful to you guys today. I wanted to teach you how you can start living this kind of life right now, not later, regardless of what you're going through right now. It could be a divorce. It could be a business failure, a job loss. Maybe you got some issues with your kids. Whatever the situation is, we can choose to live the great life right now. So I hope you guys have an absolutely amazing day, and we will see you on the next episode. Thanks, everyone. We'll talk soon.